Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Greetings and welcome to episode 213 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
My name is Barbara. What's up? How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you. Super busy still, but I say that every week.
Well, I want to keep hearing that. I don't ever want to hear we're slow again.
Oh, I kind of want to say it, maybe in 6 months or so. But life is good. I can't complain.
Yeah, is it 90 degrees every day down there now?
It's about 80. Yeah, it's about 87, 88, 89. It's supposed to be 90 on Saturday, so be jealous because I'm super tan already.
Oh, jeez.
When I had COVID, I stayed home and laid out in the sun.
Yeah, well, they say sun's the best medicine.
What else was I to do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had snow this week, so screw you.
God. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, but not sorry.
We call it late Smarch, where it's spring and March and it still snows, and it's terrible. But you know what? In about a month, I get to go to California.
I see that. Do tell.
So the second largest dental lab meeting in the U.S. is happening next month, Lab Day West, May 20th to the 21st.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have you ever been to Lab Day West?
No, I have not.
We got to get your out there.
That's true. We should.
It's a great meeting. So while the podcast won't be there recording, sorry, Barb.
That's all right.
I'll be there with my Preet family, and I get to be presenting on Saturday again my presentation, Using Your Awkwardness to Market Your Lab.
I saw that on Facebook today.
Yes, I like to
market yourself.
Yeah, market myself in awkward.
Nice mustache, bro.
Yeah, you like that? Little Photoshop.
I didn't miss it.
I don't think you could. It was bigger than the picture of me. So if you missed my presentation in Chicago, now's your chance to see it in a much warmer climate. So if you've never been to Lab Day West, you should head out. It's not as big, it's not as busy as Chicago, but it's still a great show with a lot to offer. So come see me at the Preet booth all weekend, being awkward. I'll put a link up on this episode's show notes for the event and to register for my presentation.
Nice.
So this week, Barb, we talk a lot about removable composites that make the tissue on dentures look really good. But I'm curious, and we don't talk about it too much, pink porcelain on fixed. Do you still do a lot of that?
You'd be surprised. I would probably do maybe 10 a week, single units, bridges. We mix 2 or 3 different porcelains together to try to have something that doesn't look like gum. Add a little modifiers, and we mix some of the just different Emax porcelains. And, we have an actual mix, like a recipe that works pretty well. And then if they give us pictures, you can tweak it or use, straight pink. And it's, we do a fair lot. Mostly on implants.
Yeah, I get that because a lot of time it's bone loss in the implants place. But do you ask for shades of the tissue?
I mean, not really. There's one shade guide that Ivoclar offers, and I also made like homemade tissue tabs.
Oh, okay.
And so I can send them to clients and they can match those.
Do you use Mio?
I use Mio to stain and glaze, but I use Emax for the ceramics.
Okay. That's interesting because I remember back in our lab, pink porcelain, it never looked great. It
never does.
It was always obvious.
Yeah. I did one that was like, what do they call it? Mahari.
Oh, yeah.
That was super great. And that was just off of a picture. But, hey, it didn't come back.
There you go. I guess it's better than looking at an implant. So.
Yeah. In my world, yes.
I don't think we ever successfully did it. But maybe it's just the fact that it's on one unit.
Yeah.
With removable, usually you're doing the whole gum area, so it's a little bit easier. You don't have to match. I don't know.
Bingo.
Thought it was interesting. You do a lot of them. Wow.
Yeah, fair amount.
Yeah. So this week, we talked to a very dedicated and enthusiastic removable technician from the UK. Barb, we're really international these days.
I know. And they're at all kinds of funky hours for them and us, but I really love it.
So like so many people, Deepa Bharakhda, and I know I got this right, Bharakhda.
Yes. First one ever.
Didn't know what she wanted to do when she grew up.
Neither did I.
Not many people do.
Mm-hmm.
After her parents wanted her to be a lawyer or a doctor, Deepa found dental technology at the university, or as everybody in the UK calls it, the uni.
The uni.
The uni. 2 years there and a year in another country, she found her passion for making dentures. And after a few jobs at various labs, Deepa found her home at Dencraft. She talks about the school, getting her dream job, and working directly with patients and Annex Composite to create beautiful, lifelike smiles. So join us as we chat with Deepa Bharakhda.
And now, a special message from our good friend Norbert Ulmer from Grow 3X.
If you want to save and also grow, Grow 3X is where you should go. Resins to print night guards for high impact and flex. Look no further because we have them at Grow 3X. Burrs for your mills, zirconia for your crowns. With Grow 3X, you will be the hottest lab in town. And last but not least, if you seriously want to grow, at Grow 3X aligners, and your doctors will say, wow!
Be sure to check out all Grow 3X has to offer at grow3x.com. That's GRO3X.com. And as always, we appreciate your support of the podcast.
Thank you.
Voices from the Bench. The interview. We are excited to welcome to the podcast Deepa.
And let her say it.
Yeah, with the last name that I think I'm even tapping out on this one.
No. Oh, it's dead simple. It's Bharakhda.
Bharakhda?
Yes. Well done. You've got it.
Bharakhda.
Yes.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it's just how it's spelled.
You just break it up. So you Bharakhda.
Bharakhda. I love it. It's good. Deepa, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Well, you have an accent that tells us you're not from the States.
No, that's a big giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I love it. Just saying.
Oh,
so where do you join us from?
I am joining you from all the way from Leicester in UK.
Leicester. Where is that close to?
Oh, it's Midlands. So it's closer to Birmingham.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Heard of that.
I have actually been there.
Have you?
Yeah, when my brother played soccer growing up, he was with a family that lived in Leicester and a soccer team. He would stay with them for 2 weeks and then they would come here. And I went there once and just absolutely fell in love with it.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Did you visit any other places in Birmingham or?
No, we kind of just stayed around the neighborhood, but I just loved it. That was way back when they dropped milk off every morning. Do they still do that?
Oh, you mean milkman that comes round?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm originally from Manchester. That was where I was born and brought up, and they'd have milkmans come. So we'd have milkmans on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. And people used to think, oh, well, that's posh. Do you not get your milk from the supermarket and groceries? Yes, we do, but we also have days where we get some extra, like a top up.
Yeah. That is so cool. I love it.
And they still do that?
Yes.
Is it delivered by horse and buggy?
You know what? No. They've got these cute little vans that go around. They do milk. They do all sorts now. They do eggs, bread,
liquor,
cereal, you name it.
Nice.
Wow.
I think they're just making life easy for people that don't want to do their shopping, possibly.
Yeah.
You know, some people that just want it off the app and have it delivered.
Sorry to detour, Elvis.
I was going to say, we're here to talk to you more about than just grocery delivery, I hope.
I hope so.
Deepa, you are a removable technician, right?
That's right, yes.
At Dencraft.
Yes.
I said it right. I always want to add a T, but there's no T. It's Dencraft, right?
Yes, it's silent.
Yeah. So tell us how you got started in the industry.
I didn't actually had a foggiest of what I wanted to do growing up, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming from an Indian family, expectations are, oh, you know, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a dentist, you want to be a lawyer, you know, all those. And
yeah.
I always thought, okay, yeah. I was more like, I wanted to do more of arts. And then Mum was like, no, art doesn't pay you good wages. You know, you want to be something that is a strong career. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, well, what would I want to be? And it was like, it took me a long while. I mean, I never actually thought of dental technicians because it wasn't popular back then. I'm talking in the 90s. I never heard of what a dental technician would do because it's not spoken about a lot. You know, you hear lots of talks about you can be a dental surgeon, you can be a doctor, whatnot. And I just went and did my own little research. I had to be steered away from arts. So when I did my schooling, I got through my GCSEs, went on doing A levels, and then I was off by a grade to become a dentist. And I thought, okay, fine. So what can I do that is linked with the dentistry field? And I came across a course at Manchester Metropolitan University saying dental technology. And it's like making appliances. And I thought, oh, this is a bit hands-on, you know, sounds artistic. I want to give that a go. And I spoke to the lecturers there, and they said, you know, the grades, you'd only needed like 2 C's from your A levels. And it was like a 3-year course. And you could even do it as a part-time and a full-time. And I got really interested. And I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to go for the full-time course. I want to see what this is about. I went, I applied, I got in, I studied for a couple of years, got a degree out of it. And then I was like, right, okay, so what am I going to do? You know, 3 years flown by. I also actually did work experience because you have in your final year, you can do a clinical year, you do dissertation, but they also give you some time where you can actually go out and do some work experience at a lab or a hospital or, you know, where you wanted to go. And I didn't think about the UK, and I was like thinking more about, I want to go somewhere else and do my work experience. I want to see what it's like elsewhere, because I thought, I'm going to be based here, I'll be doing my work here. You know, that's the way I kind of saw. So I looked at India because my mum's side of the family, they're from India, and I've had several visits. And I thought, oh, I wonder what the industry is there like. How do they do their stuff? How do they produce their work? What level do they do it at? So I was quite intrigued, and I thought, well, I actually want to go out there and have a look. And I remember that time my dad looked at me and he said, okay, he goes, if you want to, he goes, go for it.
Wow.
So he really supported me. He said, yeah, why not? So that was my first time. I think this was back in 2009. And I've never been on my own to India, and it's quite daunting. Taking a long flight out there and just going there, you know. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So I did have my aunts there. So I did stay over at family. Went over, but before going over that, I had to make a couple of phone calls here to make sure I'd secured a place, because your university needs to know the address and location, where you're going to be, where you're going to be doing the study, because you have this big booklet where you have to record yourself every day doing the stuff, taking pictures, because then you come back and you have to write about it. So I thought, right, okay, call them. And I wasn't getting any success, because every time I'd ring them, it'd go through one of the people. They would talk to me and say, yeah, of course, come down. But I wasn't getting anywhere. And I thought, well, I really want to go, so I'm not giving up without a fight. So then I managed to make some friends on Facebook. It was a dentist who'd work with the lab then, and he's become quite famous now, and he only does Indian celeb dentist work. Wow. So I was like, right, let's talk to him and see if I can get some attention and say, look, I'm from the UK, and because that always works. And I did, got his attention. He said, yes, come over. So I literally had booked tickets and everything, got the address down, went over, saw him in person. He actually got me in touch with the lab there. I went in, seen what they were doing, and there were so many people doing like lots of different things. It was like doing production line of Crown and Bridge, because I was looking at the stuff, like one was doing the coping, one was doing the ceramic, one was firing it, one was trying to trim it down in occlusion. And I was like, okay, that's a lot. Like, it was a total different world compared to how it's done here. I mean, I don't know much about Crown and Bridge, but from what I could see, and it was like an eye-opener, like how people do it, how fast they were doing it, how talented they were compared to here. Because I know here, when we do work, we'll probably do something start to finish. I mean, I don't know what it's like in the US, Barbara, because I know you're a ceramist.
Yes.
I hear.
Yep.
So in India, was it a large lab?
Yes, it was a large lab.
Like how many people, do you know?
So from what I can vaguely remember, I think just in that one room there were about 15 of them. But that was just the Crown and Bridge, and then they did have a removables area, and I think they had the implant area as well, if I'm not mistaken. But
Wow.
there's quite a lot of people working there. But I was surprised by how they were all working, because I always thought if something had gone wrong down the line, it's like, who would be correcting it? Who would know whose mistake it is? But
that's a problem with production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd just be a total waste and you'd have to start again or something. But yeah, no, it was definitely a total eye-opener. And then I'd come back and I was just writing up on it. But it was good. It was a good experience as a whole.
So in the UK, it's usually one technician does start to finish on a restoration.
Yes, or we have communications between other technicians. So if, say, for example, it's a full denture and one of us have done the trying or one's done special train bite, whatnot, you'll know because the steps are recorded or whoever's done what. But again, I guess it depends on lab to lab. Like Democraft, we are few technicians, where I've worked in the past and there's been more than 20 people. But again, in each department, it varies. But you do kind of have an idea of who's done what, because you'd have it somewhere on either like a lab track or somewhere that's written down to say who's done the steps.
Yeah.
So it's easy to track back. But obviously work is quality checked before it actually leaves the building, you know, regardless of what stage it's at. So you will get pulled on before it goes. If it's not done right, then it has to be corrected before it goes. So, yeah.
And I guess in India, it just went down the line.
I mean, it did make me wonder, thinking I felt sorry for if anybody was quality controlling, you know, because they'd probably sit there for hours trying to check and then they wouldn't know who to pull it up on, who's done what. I mean, I wouldn't know what the ins and outs are there.
Yeah. So what'd you do when you went there? Fixed?
I couldn't get anywhere to do hands-on. So for me, it was more of like just watching what everybody was doing.
Oh.
Wow.
And questioning. So it wasn't more like I could sit down, because where would they have me? I didn't have I had my tools, but it was like, well, I didn't know whether like I was like a burden on them, you know, just being there. But again, even seeing things, it just made me question, and they were happy to answer. I mean, there was one girl I did meet and she was saying, oh, I actually wanted to get on the course that you're on. Well, she goes, unfortunately, I don't know what the fees were at that time for studying. They go, it was quite extortionate. She goes, and she couldn't. And I did feel for her, because I thought, there's me.
Yeah.
Who's got education. And I thought, because with my parents were divorced, so in that way, if you've got a lone parent, your education's free. And there was me thinking, I've had like free education growing up, because people have to pay for their tuition fees for university, and they're an extortionate amount. And I was like,
wait a minute. In the UK, if your parents are divorced, you get a free education?
Yeah, I got a free education for university. Yeah, I didn't have to pay.
Only because your parents were divorced?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I've never heard this before.
No.
Did you not? Well, I don't know if things have changed. I'm talking back when. So my education, I graduated back in 2010, but I didn't pay for mine. Unless you, like, if you do your master's, yes, you do.
Yeah.
But my undergraduation course was free. I didn't pay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if parents ever just get divorced just so their kids do get a free education.
I should try it.
Well, only somebody like Elvis would actually think that. Just saying.
Oh, well, you wouldn't know if you try, so you'd have to give it a try just to see, and then get patched up together afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. Did you graduate? Yeah, let's get remarried.
Yeah, wait.
So how did you know that the removable areas where you wanted to specialize in, when you watched everything? Is that when you fell in love with it?
So when I did the work experience, I got back, and when we're doing the course at Manchester Metropolitan University, I kind of then knew, like, okay, I don't think crown and bridges for me, because I thought, I don't know how. I always couldn't get my brushes to work properly. I don't know whether they didn't like me or something. Even though I tried to build up, I just couldn't do it. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Or will I ever learn? Whereas setting up, working with wax, I just felt was so easy. I just felt it was seamless. I could just do it.
Yeah.
And then also with wire bending, so when you need an author, because you have to do everything. When at uni, they make you do everything. So you've got to do orthodontics, removable, you've got your crown and bridge, you've got MaxVac as well. So we had edition of MaxVac as well, which I really liked as well. So those two really stuck out for me. I don't know whether it was the artistic thing, you know, you just sit there thinking, okay, I can work with this. but I don't know why Crown and Bridge don't want to love me.
I think so. I think it definitely is like the soothingness of the wax
Yeah.
and just the artistry and setting it up and just the thought process behind it. So it's opposite for me. So obviously ceramics I fit well with, but I wasn't great at any removable and or wax. And so I just think it's where your, soul takes you and what you fall in love with and what feels good.
That is so true. Yeah. And I think that's what it was. And as I was, getting more and more into the course, I could just find my ways. I was like, okay, that's fine. I know how to do basic setups, what we're looking for. And then we came to finally we do a clinical year. So where we're like the year 3 students when we're on our final stage, and then you're working in a dental hospital. So it's like a work experience for 6 weeks, and you're with a second year dental student, and you get to see a patient. You're doing some denture work for them, so start to finish. So you're producing their bite special tray. They go into the hospital. You actually get to see that happen. So the students will take impressions and whatnot. So when we got to there, that's when it made me realize, thinking, I don't think I actually wanted to be a dentist, because I found like it's boring, like in a sense that you're visiting. I mean, you're seeing patients, you're having a chat, but you're just taking the impressions and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it. No disrespect to them, they do work hard, but I just feel like the dental technicians have a fun play in it, because you're doing all the manufacturing of the appliance, you're doing the end product, and also it's a rewarding job, I feel. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of then made me realize that no, actually I do like my course, I do like what I'm doing, and there's something I can do better. Because once you're out in the big world, all you're going to be doing is learning, flourishing, just breaking all the boundaries and trying to be the best version of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of made me feel, come on, we've got a lot of work to do here. We've just got to work hard and focus on what you like doing. And that was it.
Do I understand that a third-year dental student worked on a patient with work from a third-year dental technician?
So a third year with a second year. So it was a second year dental student in a dental hospital. So we had the dental environment where you'd see the patient.
I almost feel bad for the patient.
I know.
It's a lot of learning going on in that mouth.
Heck yeah.
What are we thinking? What are they going to do to me? I might pass out.
So do the patients know that you guys are students, and do they get like a discount or something? How does that work for the patients?
Well, it was through NHS. So it was just a program. So with the dental hospital, they've got people that they see, and it's a massive hospital where you've got students who learn there as well, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's for, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time I actually went in. It was a massive place, and people are doing their clinical years. They're learning and teaching, and they managed to kind of do a program for both. So again, it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And definitely an eye-opener,
Yeah.
And I think the patients do know what's going on, that they're under supervision, and you have got senior technician and you've got senior from their side, from the dentist side, that are overseeing. So they're not totally on their own. You've got people going up and down. So if you're not sure, you can ask questions and they can guide you. So the patients were in the best hands, really.
Yeah, that's really a great way to learn too. So you have a mentor right there. You can ask questions. So it's not like they let you guys just go for it. They were watching.
No, you had people about. Yeah, you had people about. Now I'm talking again. This is like nearly 10 years, so more than 10 years I'm talking. So yeah, I mean, a lot would have changed by now. A lot of improvements must have happened. But yeah, no, it was definitely a good experience.
Was that a 2-year program or a 4-year program?
For me, no, it was a 3-year, but then I had like a year out. I had a second year out with family and whatnot, and then I got back in to finish my degree, where my dad has been my big support system, and he really pushed me and said, look, finish it off, and then do what you want to do. And then after I finished my undergrad, I actually told my dad I wanted to do masters.
Wow.
In dental technology, because they've got a course running in Cardiff, and I was like, yeah, I really want to do it. I was really enthusiastic, like academically. I was like, yeah, once I've done my degree, I want to go into doing this, and then probably work in a dental hospital. That's how I kind of figured it out. But then plans change, things happen, and they happen for the best, is the way I see it now. And then I couldn't complete my master's for, again, personal reasons. And I then went on doing an apprenticeship in Bolton, which was closer to home. And that was really good because we had a CDT on site. It was a family lab with a father and son. And I learned a lot. I think that was a massive eye-opener for me just after being like graduated. You think
CDT over there is almost like a denturist, right?
It is.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they can take impressions of edentulous cases, they're allowed to do that. Again, it was a big eye-opener for me. Once you've graduated, you think, oh yeah, I know this. But no, when you step into the real world,
oh yeah,
it's like a massive slap on your face. All that learning is good, but to be fair, your real learning starts is when you're actually doing stuff in the lab. Yeah. When you're being told off, no, this is not how it's done. What you've been taught at uni, no, it doesn't work here. This is not how it is. And you're thinking, well, I just wasted my 3 years doing something that was not relevant. But I mean, it is. As you know, every lab is different. They work differently.
And every case is different.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And they make you think on your own. Like, you know, you've got a case. You don't just do things for the sake of it. Why do you do it? And with private, that was it. You know, even a bite block. The amount of times I must have done one bite block when I first started, I could just shoot myself. Like, I was shocked thinking, what? You know, I thought I knew what I was doing, but hell no. It's got to be thin at the front. It's got to be, you know, thick at the back. Why? Have you seen how your teeth are? Yeah. And it makes sense why your bite blocks are done a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You need to study the model. You need to study the cast, you know. And I thought, yes, model analysis. And it all came in to play. You all understood everything, all kind of integrated. So whatever you learn at uni, you could take a couple of bits and it kind of made sense. It all fell into place.
Yeah.
You have to think outside the box as well. And you have to think that this is for a patient who's going to be wearing this. So you've got to be very critical about everything. Even when you cast models, again, it was a big thing, like how they should be cast a certain way. And again, a massive learning curve for me. I learned a lot working at a private lab, from the smallest thing to the biggest, how you set up, how things are processed, how crown and bridge models are cast. You know, it was a good thing. So I was there for 8 months, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, because they were a small lab, they had to let me go. I had to then, I think I stayed a couple of months at like home thinking, well, what else can I do? And I know I wanted to still carry on. And then there was another lab which I had to relocate from my hometown to Wolverhampton, and it was a big lab. It was a commercial lab, so totally different to the one I had, the full private lab, going to an NHS private. So again, that was different. The way they were working was different. Whereas private, you can take your time, do the work. You've got your turnover days set out. Commercial lab, hectic.
Big time.
Yeah, mass production. It was like, here's the work, this is what we got to do, this is how it is. And you just bang them out. You wouldn't have a time to think about it. And I think that's what I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I was at the stage where I wanted experience. So I wasn't turning anything down. Any experience is good experience in my eyes. I feel you can, you know, knowing everywhere you work is a good thing. You know, you don't have to work solely in private, but you also should, I think, be exposed to how NHS works, how other commercial labs work. Because again, it's building you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good learning experience. Absolutely.
It just helps you decide which way you actually want to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think it also makes you faster, you know, when you just start connecting all of the dots, and you don't do the quality that you might want to see for yourself, but it also makes you faster. You learn a lot. You see a lot more cases, a lot of different bites, clients that aren't all that great, you know, what to look for. You know, you learn all of the things that you don't want. Some of that you do, but a lot that you don't.
That's it. Exactly. But yeah, it definitely does get you speed up. That 100%. I agree. I did shock myself when I used to work there, thinking how many used to bang out like 20 finishes a day. And I'd be like, really?
Wow.
Don't do that. It was just, it was constant. Yeah, it was constant. It would either be 20 finishes or it would be probably say 10 tries, and you'd have a couple of repairs chucked in, and, you know, you're having to just do it. So your whole day would literally just go without even thinking where the day has gone.
Yeah.
But I stayed there for a year. This was in Wolverhampton. And then that lab had to go down. And I remember that time I was about to get married and I was like, well, if I've got no job, what am I going to do? But then they offered me one closer to Leicester. It was still a long commute. But again, nothing actually deterred me to go away. I thought, no, I'm still going to work regardless of wherever I move. I'm not going to stop working because I had this thing that I just want to carry on. I don't want to stop. And it was the same lab but in Ripley, so that was about like a 2-hour commute every day. I remember at that time I didn't have a car, so I'd be training and busting to get there and back, and I did it. That lab was much better. They did have a good system in place. Again, I was doing the prosthetics side at that time. It was a lot less busier than what the one in Wolverhampton was like, so I could do a bit more private work because I was doing a lot of NHS, and I think NHS where you don't think and you just have to get it out, that kind of really upsetted me a lot. I was thinking, well, this is going out to a lot of patients, and you know, you feel sorry thinking, what if that doesn't fit, you know, because you've got your heart. When you're doing the work, you want to do something that's for your best of ability. When you're just banging them out, it's like, no, this can't happen. But Ripley was a good move as well. Doing everything again, finishing the denture, doing try-ins, talking to dentists on the phone as well. So if the impressions weren't good enough, I could ring them up, discuss cases, and that was really good. Because you can get feedbacks. If the work was good, they'll let you know. If it's not good, you're definitely going to know about that because they'll be on that phone screaming down at you thinking, well, why is this case like this? Or I didn't ask for this. And, you know, but that was good because communication is key in this. So, yeah, Ripley turned out to be really good. But then it got to the point where I thought, I'm not really progressing more. So then I ended up taking another leap and went on to another lab, which turned out that it was more like process work, you know, being a process technician where work was just plonked on my bench and I just had to get it out.
Just processing. That's quite a step down for you after all that.
It was a shocker.
Yeah.
In a way, I think I did the right thing because if I didn't go that route, then I wouldn't have been able to work for Dentcraft. So in a way it worked out well. I was there 6 months and I was just doing it. So you'd just get a box, put on your bench. You'd have, again, it would be like 10 finishes, 5 try-ins. You'd have about 5 repairs or relines or whatever. So my day would start at 7:30. Even though they'd started at 8, finish at 4, I'd be in there early. I'd drive up. This was closer to Nottingham. So again, I had a car by then, so my journey from being like 2 hours of what it was at Ripley had gone down to like an hour, but I'd still commute over on the motorway and back. And it just got to the point where it was just wearing me down because I thought, I'm going early, I'm trying to get all the jobs out. It was like I was running after time. And you're having to do, again, work on something that I wasn't happy to put my name on. But again, it was a learning, you know, thing. It made me faster at doing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But then I thought, no, I need to kind of now look for something. I want to be more settled. I want to be in an area where I can flourish, do the best work, and be the best version of me. And then I think it was 6 months down the line, Dentcraft actually had posted out saying that they're looking for technicians. So for a couple of days, I looked at it and I thought, is it real? Because with Leicester's very small and it's very hard to get a job in Leicester. So that's why I kind of thought, right, I'm not going to get a job here. It's best to stay where I am and commute. But when this opportunity came, I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I can get it. I applied. I made that phone call and there was a girl on the other side and said to me, just send your CV in, we'll take a look. Did so. Then I forgot about it. I think a week later, I got a phone call from Dentcraft saying that we'd like to meet you. And I was like, in my heart, I was like doing a little dance thinking this would be perfect for me. But literally like a couple of miles down the road, literally like 10-minute drive for me, as opposed to what I do. And I thought this would be a perfect thing for my career. It would just literally blossom my career. And I was like hoping, but not having my hopes too high. And as you do, you go in for your interview, made sure I got there early, made sure I made, you know, my presence known, went in, sat down. And as you're nervous and you just kind of like blabber on too much. And I think I kind of did. And I thought, I hope I've not blown my chances here. But when they said, looking at my CV, actually, you're an LE5 postcode. So the bonus, it goes, the advantage is that you're from Leicester. And I thought, yeah. He goes, so what we'd like to do is like have you down for 2 days just to see what you're like and how you would be around here.
Yeah, like a working interview. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, why not? I was like, I'd love that. Yes, I did. I did 2 days. I remember that was the first time I actually met Nina there.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
And obviously I didn't know what they thought about me at that time because it's a small lab. There's only my manager, Rob, Nina, and we had Paul, who was the metal technician.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right. I hope I've got that right. He's going to kill me if he listens to that. He's retired, so I'm sure he won't mind. And they were obviously looking for an addition, so that was me. And then I worked 2 days. I listened to them. I was working closely with Nina. So I think she was trying to then like kind of suss me out, thinking whether she's going to be fit for the, place or not. Because, being a small lab, you have to be careful who you take on, who not, who's going to work, if they've got the great behavior, personality, and all that. So rolled into day 2. I was fine. They were telling me how it works because we're like a lab on site. So we've got a massive practice downstairs and not forgetting about 5 fleets of stairs. So we're right at the top.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we're right at the top. So it's like when you're getting your parcels and your post and your impressions from downstairs, you can imagine the amount of flights of stairs you have to go down to collect it and come back up. I mean, it's a great workout, don't get me wrong.
A little bit of exercise every single day.
Yeah.
Little mini workouts.
It so is. And we just let the parcels build up and then we just try to see if we can make less journeys than constant.
Oh, yeah. You said you sent in your CD?
CV.
What is that?
CVs, it's like you've got your name, your address, like what you do, so all your history.
It's their version of a resume.
A resume.
Yes,
That's
resume.
why I asked. I was wondering.
Yeah.
Do you send any pictures of your work or anything, or is it basically just where you have work?
It's just a sheet. So basically, I think it's a minimum of A4. 2 pages. I think they've limited how many you can write because you can go on writing about your history. So your recent work. So you obviously your normal details, your contact number, where you've studied, where you've worked, your recent work, and then 2 references.
Okay.
Who you want to give.
All right.
So with me, they did ask about pictures while I was on the interview, and I got my phone out. I asked them, could I take my phone out? I said, I have got pictures on my phone, and I literally whipped them out. I'd saved them because I had a feeling that they probably would ask about my past work of what I've done, and which they did. They'd seen a couple of pictures, but I think they actually wanted to know what I'd be like working and with a small team. So when I did those 2 days, they went, I think on the second day, they got me in and they said, look, this is how we are. The quality is very high here. This is how we work, whatnot. And in my head, I was thinking, are you going to offer me the job? Are you going to offer me the job? I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to smash whatever it takes, to be. And they did. They said, yeah, we're happy to take you on. And to my surprise, I mean, I was really, really ecstatic because for me, it meant, okay, no more motorway journeys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
It meant I'd have like 2 best technicians. I mean, I had Nina, I had Rob, I was under their wing. I really worked hard. I listened to their advice. I listened to because they've got a lot of experience compared to me. So they knew how things work, how private work is, how everything should be dealt with. And I was really ecstatic, did everything, worked my way up and loved being here, loved doing what I do now. When I look back, I'm thinking, wow, I've come a long way and I wouldn't change it.
What did they have you do during those 2 days? Did you basically do a little bit of everything, or did they give you one case to do start to finish?
Well, 2 days I got a taste of everything, of how they cast imps, because obviously we don't have a model room technician. We do everything. So we'll do the casting. We have an admin who does the booking in. So I got a taster of how they'd cast the impressions. I got a taster of how, again, special train bites are done differently everywhere. But again, they wanted to see how I did mine and how they do it. So little changes, not major.
Yeah.
Some splints, I remember. I don't know if I did do a try now. I can't remember. But I did a bit of everything. I actually did get to go downstairs. So like I said, we've got dentists on site. We're a lab on site, so we've got practice with lots of dentists. And there was an implant case, I remember, and Rob actually took me downstairs to say, look, we're doing like a same day teeth, so this is how it's done. They had the patient at the chair side. I remember the dentist was talking about how things are done, showing me the x-rays. There's a patient in the chair, and the work was like being fitted in, and I was just watching. I was thinking, this is brilliant. I thought, from what, because technicians usually don't have that advantage.
Right.
When you're working in labs, you don't see where your work goes, how it is, unless you pester a dentist to say, oh, how did that job go?
I do. Yeah.
Then you're like, tell me, I want to know. Because I recently, we did that with one case, which I'll tell you about. And it was like, wow, this is so cool. You're actually getting to see everything happen. Either way, if it goes good or bad, you get to see it. And that is the big thing, like
huge.
Either way, take it as a compliment or take that criticism on board and how to rectify it. But you get to see if you've gone wrong, where you've gone wrong, and how to correct it. But if you've gone right, great. That's like a massive tick.
Yeah, I'll say.
And that was good. And that's what I kind of experienced on my second day. And that way, even it made my choice even more, thinking, right, I do want to work for this place. I do like this environment. This is where I want to be. And it made me feel that whatever I did in my uni, I'll be able to put all that in to place here, working hard, producing high-end stuff. That's what I want to do. I want to make a difference to patients' smile. I want to give back their smile. And this workplace has allowed to do so. And I thought it was a great opportunity.
Yeah. That's great. It's not like you haven't spent your time doing 20 finishes a day.
No, total opposite.
Yeah, but it's, God, what an opportunity.
It was, definitely. And when they said that, I was like, yep, I'm onto it. And that was it. And now, I'm here. And when we do our cases, if we have any like full arch cases, and if we don't hear from the dentist, we have a lab phone. So we have everyone on WhatsApp. That's the way we communicate with the dentists.
Yeah.
For any like big cases, if it's any scan jobs or anything, if we're not happy with the impression, it'd just be like, you take a picture, you tell them, right, not good enough, we need a new one, and they can see it. So they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine, we'll do that. And we did some full arches for one dentist, and we only posted them out, gone this week. And I really wanted to know how it went. And I told my manager, I said, can we just message him to find out? Because I said, I've not heard any feedback. And what we always say is, no news is good news.
Yep. Definitely.
I say that too.
That's a universal term, I guess.
I don't agree. I like news.
Oh, we were like, okay, but with me is when I've done some work, and I remember mine was a lower arch, which I did with pink composites on. So I really took my time doing this job. And I was like, and the upper was a ceramic one. And we sent it out, and I actually added some pink onto it, I remember. And we sent that out, and I said to Rob, and I said, we have to pester him. He goes, all right. He goes, let's just message him and see how did it go. We did it. We thought, what, either way, we want to know.
Yeah.
He messaged straight back and said, oh, it fitted like a glove. And I went, oh, that's great. Well, I said, where's the pictures? So we actually told him, we messaged him to say, right, when you fit that, when the lady comes back in for a review, could you please take some pictures if she allows, so we can, use it on our social media sites to just say how wonderful this smile was created.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's rewarding, again, seeing that the patient was happy, hearing the news that she was happy. It really makes us feel like we've done well.
Oh, absolutely.
It gives you that boost, thinking, I want to do more. It's just fun doing stuff like this. I mean, it can, come down with tears. Don't get me wrong. There are times where, you feel upset. You cry. You go home thinking, oh, God, I hope it's gone all right or whatnot. But it's because you want to do well.
Yeah. So what is your day like now? Can you kind of take us through your work day?
Yeah. So now we're fully private lab. So the works we do are like the high-end denture work, which has pink composite work on it. We do hybrids. We do a lot of implant dentures.
Mm-hmm.
We do crown and bridge, but our crown and bridge, we've got another lab in Sheffield. So there's a Dentcraft Sheffield. They do the crown and bridge. we do more of the prosthetic side on our side.
Okay.
So our day usually involves, we have a trainee who at the moment we're training them up to do casting impressions and doing the normal, reeling them into the real world of how we do things. And I like to do the arty-farty work. So
oh yeah, describe that. I want to know. I've heard that term. What does that mean?
Well, it is, isn't it? It's like you're dressing a denture, aren't you, in a way, making it look natural as possible, not just a pink plastic. You're thinking about like the gum, the tissue color. You're trying to emulate all that, and that is fun. It's just so therapeutic. And I feel like having the opportunity to do such work like that is amazing.
How do you do that work? What do you use?
Massive fan of Annexton, as you know.
Oh yeah.
I've taken some really good tips. I've had Nina teach me while she's been here, teach me a lot of gum work, how to analyze, how to use the correct colors. And I've taken that on board and I've tried to experiment and do that. And it's been great. Like, I can see the results. I can see how it looks. I've got a little more confident with using them.
Mm-hmm.
I also get opportunities like to go downstairs to the dentist and shade map the pink. And that's awesome because you actually get to see their gum. And then what you're trying to do is then kind of map how it's going to look. You get some pictures taken, so you've got that to use when you go back. So when you're finishing the denture off, and then you're cutting back, and then you're thinking about how you're going to apply your pinks. Again, it's just exciting. So when I start doing it, I just get all excited, thinking, "Oh wow!"
I could tell.
I'm going to sit there with my Ultrasculpt. I'm going to sit there with all the colours, lay them all out, and then I'm going to look at them, thinking which one I'm going to use first, and just paint away. It's so fun to do. And I look forward to doing cases like that allow colour to be added in and to give patients that natural looking denture that they can just smile about.
How many different pinks are there? Do you know?
Well, there are. I know Annexton, they have a lovely dark pink. So I use a mix of Annexton. They have really nice like opacity in there, so they're really good for like hybrids that I paint on. And for dentures, I use the SR Nexco pastes.
Oh, that's Ivoclar, right?
Yes, that's Ivoclar.
Yeah.
Them two are really nice to use, and I enjoy using their products. With Annexton, the colours come out really well. They also have a nice light pink colour as well, which I use interstitially. And what's the other colour that I really like from them? So the dark pink's nice, their light pink's amazing. And I haven't tried their cream.
Cream?
They've got a nice cream colour which you can use to actually do your roots. Now, I haven't tried it. I usually use one of the dentine colour.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to try out to see how that looks.
How long does it usually take you to do an arch of just the gum work?
Just the gum work?
Yeah.
So once it's been prepped, applying, I've not really timed myself.
Yeah.
When I recently did the lower arch, it took me at least I think it took me 2 hours.
Wow.
The key is it's the blend. Like Nina says, it's the blend. The blending has to be done correctly so that the colours shine through quite nicely.
It's above me. I don't get it. It's like ceramics. I just
Yeah.
don't see how it happens. But...
I totally can.
Yeah, I know you
I'm
can,
really
Barb.
feeling her. I'm like, I get it. Because I was even going to ask you that question of how do you get that tissue? And you answered it. You said you go down, you study it, you look at them, you take the photographs, you probably blow the photographs up.
Yeah.
And then as you're sitting there creating, you've got that right in front of you. That's exactly what we do.
Yeah, but it's good. Like when you just sit there doing it, you're just in your own zone. You're just doing it. There's no distraction. Even though people in the background talking, the phones are going off, whatnot. Your focus has just gone, I become really quiet. And that's when they actually say that they've never seen me go so quiet, is when I'm actually doing composites. I go quiet. I don't talk to anybody. I'm zoned out. Otherwise, blabbermouth and like, would you just shut up?
That's why they keep giving you work.
I know why now.
Well, I think that's the level of focus that makes you amazing and makes you creative and an artist. I do the same thing. I'll just come in and just jump right into my cases and just check out, and you just love it.
Yeah.
I think that really comes through in your passion, the way you talk and the way you talk about your artistry. It's just like, and always pushing yourself and getting better and wanting to just keep growing.
Yes. I think there's no end stage of that you think you know everything, because there's always something new to learn. You're always forever learning in this platform.
Mm.
And what's really nice is that when you kind of connect with like-minded people, like what I recently discovered is on Instagram, there are a lot of other technicians that have passion, have drive.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to connect with them, to talk to them, discuss ideas or, any advice. They're so happy to share.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always growing because you always know something, but then somebody else says, oh, well, have you tried this? There's this way. And it's nice to know that there are different ways of learning, different ways of producing stuff. There's just not only one way, and it's nice.
Yeah.
And people are really sweet and really supportive. Like, I love using the coloured waxes from Chanel. I recently tried doing them on my case, and they look fab, and I can understand when people say, oh, what's the point of like using the coloured wax, because it's gonna go, it's gonna boil out, and that's it.
Oh, that was my question to her. Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, there is a whole point. It's like when you're doing composite work, it goes well perfectly. People get that idea basically for the patient. They can see what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it's huge when she explained it. You're able to sell it that much more during the try-in.
Yes.
It's like digital dentures now and the monolithic try-ins. We're almost going backwards.
I was going to ask you, are you guys doing any digital?
We don't do digital dentures at the moment, no.
It takes the artistry out of it that you're speaking so highly of, and I don't mean anything negatively to the listeners who actually do it, but I just think it's a different animal.
It definitely is. I mean, I don't think it's hit really big, like for our lab, it hasn't yet, because everyone still loves the analog version, like doing it yourself rather than the printed.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know, it could be a big hit, anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if anything, those digital dentures are going to need more composite work.
Oh, God.
It's the only way you're going to get anything that looks pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, there'd be a lot of cutback, though, because you'd have to, there's only so much composite that you can add. You'd have to really cut back the denture and work your magic on it.
You might as well just make the whole thing out of composite at that point. I mean,
pretty much.
Yeah, why not? It's possible.
So do you get to see patients now? You go upstairs, or what'd you say? You're upstairs. So you go downstairs. So you get to see everything tried in and everything go in?
Yes, you can. It depends on the patients as well, if they're willing to allow. But yeah, so recently there was a trying on locators, and which was done, and the bite was off, so it had to run. But when you're doing it on the articulator, you don't see that. You're working off the bite, everything, all the the dimensions that you've got. When you look at it on the articulators, when you're doing your guidances and everything, you think everything's fine. But then when it's tried in, it's different, and you do get called, and that's one of the good things for me as well. You go downstairs and you can have a look, and you get to see it, that, okay, this isn't right, there's a run, and you look and you think, yeah, you've got a point, and that is right. And then they help take pictures as well. So you actually get to see the patient, see how they're like. You get to see like the symmetry, why there is a run, because you don't see that they probably have their lip line is not, symmetrical.
Yeah.
That's something you don't know. So again, it helps, because then you take pictures of the dentists will take picture. They'll again email that over to you, and then little tweaks, and then they call them in for a retry. And then after that, the dentist will just walk in, because with us, as being a lab on site, they just barge in as and when they please. When you're on your lunch, it's like, oh, I just need to discuss something. So it's like, oh, I'll drop everything for you, and I'm all yours now. Tell me. But I mean, the beauty is, it's nice that if there's anything that's done, and if it's done smoothly, they'll come up and say, yeah, everything went well, fine, let's go to finish. And then even with the finishes, if you ask them politely that if we could see the finished work, why not? So there's a recent denture that I've just posted today, which was a pink composite with chrome that I did. And this one again was the practice on site, and the patient she was very particular with what she wanted, so the pressure was on. It was chrome denture and she didn't want any grayness showing. So it was like, well, what can we do with this patient? How can we make it look that it, the grey doesn't shine through? Pouring it up in dentine worked, and then stripped it back, added composite to it. And the day it got fitted in, I did bail downstairs to the dentist, spoke to the nurse, and I said, I know this patient's a bit worried, but I said, if it all goes well, could I come and have a look? And they said, yeah, sure.
Wow.
And I remember it took a while, and then they actually buzzed up because you had to give patient consent if it was allowed, because unless they didn't want to. So
yeah, sure.
Because everyone's different. And I actually got the opportunity. I went downstairs. She actually asked me, the patient looked at me and said, well, what do you think? So when she smiled, I looked at her and I thought, wow. I said, they look great. I said, they look natural. And she wasn't sure. So I gave her my honest opinion. I said, look, that smile looks really natural. I said, for 1 second, I didn't think you actually, they look like dentures. They actually look natural. So she was happy. And then she'd actually come in for a review 2 weeks after. And then I had the dentist come up like they usually do. And I was casting in the room, and he come up and he actually said to me, the patient's through, she's really happy. She couldn't stop smiling. And I thought, wow. I thought, that's lovely. And I did pester him. And I said, look, if she comes in again for a review, if she doesn't mind, could you take a picture of it in the mouth? But he said she is a bit particular, but we'll try. But just knowing that the work fitted in and she was happy and she couldn't stop smiling, for me, that was like a massive reward, thinking, oh, that's great. I've just changed a smile. I've given her a better smile.
Yeah.
And that really just made it worth it. And I just couldn't stop smiling that day. I was like, oh, love it. Let's do one more.
I'm surprised you wanted to go chairside with a patient that picky.
Oh, yeah. They're fun.
That's the one I'd be like, yeah, I'll just let it go.
Yeah, you'd think, oh, she'd probably say something, yeah. But either way, you just have to take it on board, wouldn't you? Because the patient's always right.
No matter what, yeah.
No matter what.
Are the doctors and the dentists there that you deal with? You said it perfectly when you're like, oh, yeah, let me just stop eating my lunch and I'll come right to you. So they're pretty much the same there as they are here. Just saying.
Yeah, we do. We tend to, because we've got, how many have we got? About 8. I think we've got about 8 dentists. We've got a couple of hygienists. Hygienists don't bother us. The nurses will come in and out when, but they're nice. They'll come in just to check work, just to make sure the work's ready for them. It's usually the dentist. They'll just walk in whenever. But when we want them, we hardly get to see them when we're chasing them. But when they do, they'll just turn up as you're in the middle of having your lunch, or you're on the phone, or you're doing something and you're like, right, okay, I can't really turn them away because they're there. Or they'll just wait for you. They'll hang about, looming around in the room, and you're thinking, right, all right, what do you want now?
Oh, yeah.
But you can actually get to discuss, even if I've got complicated cases, it's nice to have, because you can sit down with them, you can look at the work together, you can look at the working models together, think of a solution. Okay, what can we do better with it? What does it need doing to it? Or is there any other, you can share your ideas, and that's great. You've got a great communication. I think where I am based, the communication is solid. You can get the best cases out between you two. When things go wrong, you can work towards it. It's not like, oh, you blame one another. I mean, obviously that does happen, but you work together, find a solution, and you move on.
That's the best way.
You do work for dentists outside of your build.
Well. Yeah.
You must see better results with the dentist you get to work with that closely.
Yes, we do. Like I said, with anything, even if it's like little bits that are not right, we've got that advantage. We can run downstairs and have a look. We can even correct it at chairside if we have to, if it's gone on for too long. You've got that advantage.
Yep.
Again, even when things are going right, you have that advantage because you can go down, have a look, speak to the patient, whatnot. Take shade maps.
Oh, yeah.
Shade takes, that's a big advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Even working with the dentist outside, we make sure we build a communication, because it's key to anything, especially when you're doing the high-end stuff. It's imperative. You want to be on the phone, you want to be discussing, you want to be saying, right, what are we going to do next? if you think it's not right, you know, we can offer them another alternative, or have you thought about this, you know? And some of the dentists are really good, and they do listen, and they do say, yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And you can get a nod who dentists say, no, actually, we're going to stick with this. But then you tell them, well, okay, I've told you this, and if we can't offer you warranty, then this is how it is. And it does work out. Sometimes it doesn't, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we do the same. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever have any patients that were upset that just bypassed the dentist and went straight upstairs to you guys to complain directly to the lab?
Funny saying that, yes. We had. This is a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, it's still new.
It is actually. I mean, it's weird how I don't know if you're reading or if you can actually see what goes on here, but yeah, seriously. You're not Mystic Meg, are you?
Yes, he is. Just
Oh, I gotta be careful then. Well, yeah, this was a couple of weeks ago. I took a phone call, and usually we take shade, so it's not me personally. We've got our big boss, who's a ceramist. He does shade takes, and he comes once a week. So what we do is, when they're coming down, so one of the dentists sends their patient over to the lab. Mm-hmm. We have to put them in the diary, book them in for a shade. And we had one, and I happened to take the phone call, and she spoke to me. She took my name. She came in for a shade, and I think she wasn't happy with it. I don't know, the shade was wrong or off slightly. And then it was like a couple of weeks later, she rings and she goes, oh, could I speak to Deepa, please? Because she's the one who's doing my crown. I went, hang on a second. No, I'm not the one doing your crown. And she wanted to know how soon. So I took the call, and I said, to be honest, I'm not the one doing the crown. I said, we only had you in for a shade. I said, you really need to go and deal with the dentist with the time frame, because I said, we don't deal with the patient direct. It's got to be you dealing with the dentist. We deal with the dentist. The dentist needs to come and speak to us regards of dates and whatnot, and we can tell him. And then I think she actually did turn up at the lab the week after, wondering what was going on, and I thought, what? Can't be happening. She shouldn't be turning up. And you know, it was difficult to kind of tell her and say, look, we're not the people you need to be dealing up with it. You have to go to your dentist. He's the one who will be liaising with you, not us. Yeah, bless them. I think there's some can be really eager.
Oh yeah. And then you say bye and shut the door.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I hope that doesn't happen often, God.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, Deepa, you say you're always learning. What are you working on next? I mean, pink composite, looks like you've mastered that to me, but what's next?
You. Well, I don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to do lots of like demos, go places, because I know you guys had an amazing time at Chicago Lab Day.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was like a storm. What was going on? Like, everybody was everywhere. I was like looking at stories, looking at people's posts, and I thought, wow.
Next year you should go.
Happening. Call me over. I'm all up for it. I'm all up for it.
Nice. Well, awesome, Deepa. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, it was an amazing story.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's a great story. I love your passion and your enthusiasm for it. It's great.
Thank you. No, it's an honor. Thank you for having me.
I loved it. Thank you as well.
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Well, we will talk to you soon, and we'll see if we can get you over here in America to go to the lab day someday.
Amazing. You guys are a star. Oh, I'd love to meet you in person and everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, did you hear the dogs?
Whitmix offers you the ultimate in ease, material flexibility, and unattended production with the Roland DGA DWX-52DCi milling machine. The popular Mills automatic disc changer expands your lab's production and profit using a 6-slot automatic disc changer, 15-station automatic tool changer, and several other automated features. The DWX-52DCi dental milling machine now comes with performance software and other intelligent updates. The 5-axis mill even knows which tool to automatically swap out when tools have reached their designated lifespan. Just power it on, let it go, and automatically and accurately mill numerous dental restoration jobs with complete unattended confidence. If you're interested in learning more about the Roland DGA DWX-52DCi, visit whipmix.com or call 1-800-626-5651. And as always, we appreciate your support of the podcast, Whipmix.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for coming on our podcast and telling us all about your passionate journey. Plus, we love the accents. That's pretty amazing. It's amazing to hear how far you came to find your home and at a lab that appreciates the, quote, artsy-fartsy that you find in your work. Go find her on Instagram by finding the link on her guest page at voicesfromthebench.com and see some of her amazing work. Well done, Deepa.
It's beautiful
Good luck
stuff.
To you.
Absolutely. We can't wait to see more from you in the future.
Yep.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you, and we will talk to you next week.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Tell me what to say.